This is WLKY. Live, local, late breaking. Your complete news coverage for Greater Louisville starts right now.
Right now at 7 o'clock, tossed in the trash, Metro Police are investigating a homicide after a man's body is discovered in a dumpster. And on trial for murder, testimony continues in the case of a man accused of killing another man and burying his body in a basement. Plus, a walk of compassion. Gunshot victims say they're taking steps towards stopping the cycle of violence. Good Saturday morning to you. I'm Christina Mora.
And I'm Lexi Sheen, live in Henryville on this one-year anniversary of the 2012 deadly tornado outbreak. Lots of events planned here for today. We're going to have a preview of those for you, and we'll also be talking this morning about how much this community has changed over the past year.
But first, let's get a check on today's weather with meteorologist Suzanne Horgan. Good morning.
All right, good morning. We are dealing with some scattered snow shower activity out there this morning. Let's go ahead and take a look at our WLKY Doppler network. And you'll notice we're continuing to see some light snow showers near Tell City, just outside of Union Star so far this morning. Farther down to the south, we are seeing some snow shower activity across portions of Grayson County, back through sections of Hart County, southern Hardin County, and back through LaRue County as well. As we go ahead and take a live look outside, you can see we got a dusting of snow in many locations last night. Now, that being said, we could be dealing with some icy spots out on the roads this morning, so just watch it as you head out the door early this morning. Temps this morning, it's 29 degrees right now in Seymour. It's 31 degrees in Munfordville. Elizabethtown coming in at 30 degrees. And taking a look at your wind chill factor, it does feel significantly cooler than the actual air temperature. Feels like we are down in the 20s and even teens in many areas. Your forecast high for today will only make it to about 36 degrees for today. Mostly cloudy skies with scattered flurries. We do have some relief on the way with some warmer weather. We'll have a full look at your forecast coming up, but right now back over to Christina.
Okay, now let's go back out to Lexi, who's live at Henryville High School with more on last year's tornadoes and the events that are planned today. Lexi?
Well, Christina, a lot going on today in honor of the survivors, also to remember the victim that died last year in the tornado outbreak right here in Henryville, and of course the number of other victims across the state and also in Kentucky. We're going to give you a list right now of the remembrance events that are scheduled in Henryville. Here, everything is going to kick off at 1 o'clock this afternoon with a flag and memorial dedication at New Washington Bank. A parade is scheduled for 1:30. That's going to start at the Monroe Township Fire Department, which is located at 315 South Ferguson Street. At 2:30, there's going to be a memorial commemoration service right here at Henryville High School. That will also play host to the Henryville High School Family Fair. All of those activities, though, will come to a halt at 3:10 to pause for a moment of silence to remember last year's victims and also all of the damage. From 4 to 6 o'clock, that will round all of the events out with the Kiwanis Club hosting a scholarship and spaghetti fundraising dinner for Henryville High School. Right now, though, we're going to continue our team coverage with Natalie Grice, who's getting a yummy breakfast that I'm very jealous of at Bud Rosa Bus Stop Restaurant. She's also getting the lowdown on how far that restaurant, the business, has come over the past year. Good morning, Natalie.
Yeah, good morning, Lexi. We'll have to send you a menu over there and get some breakfast out to you. But everything here is smelling amazing, and business is picking right back up to where they were before this storm hit. Now, we've been talking about how this has been just an iconic scene of the tornadoes, considering that right through the middle of the restaurant there was a school bus. A lot of people rode out the storm in the basement of this restaurant, but now it is back to business as usual. And a year after that iconic scene, a lot of people sharing their stories this morning in a restaurant that's already busy about the storms that hit a year ago today. We've got some EMTs here enjoying some breakfast. And guys, tell me a little bit about what this day has been like for you. What kind of memories does this bring back?
A lot of good memories. I mean, just not really. I mean, it just it's amazing to see in a year what has really take place of everything being rebuilt and everybody's lives getting back to normal.
So a lot of progress here, but a lot still to be done. What does it mean to see everybody kind of coming out in remembrance a year later?
Well, it's great to see a community pull together and stay together, and people from outside. You know, I'm from Jennings County, and to be down here to help and do what I can to be part of this community is just great, and the love that everybody shares for everybody.
So it's a day of meaning when we talk about all the stories that have come out of everything. What does it mean to have a place like this here at Bud Rose Bus Stop to share all of these stories?
Oh, it's great to have. I mean, it's great people. Everybody that we talk with here has good stories and great stories, and they really, it's pretty awesome to sit around and listen to the stories that they've had through the year.
All right, thank you so much for your time. I know you guys have got some food coming out, and I certainly don't want to be in the way of that. It is getting very busy here, and so, Lexi, I'm going to send it on back to you, and hopefully we can get some eggs and bacon coming your way, too.
I would love that. All right, thanks a lot, Natalie. Of course, Henryville was not the only town affected by last year's deadly tornado outbreak. Another number of other places in southern Indiana were also affected, including the unincorporated town of Marysville. They were also walloped by last year's severe weather. That town of about 1,900 sustained colossal damage, and 1 year later, much of the town remains damaged. Some homes have not been rebuilt, and others have been completely leveled. People living there say they can't express enough gratitude to everyone who came to help.
Thank you. That's the only thing you can say. There was so much to do. So many people came forward and offered help. I mean, there were people here from other states that were helping, and all we can say is thank you. The town is actually coming back together.
Hundreds of volunteers poured into Marysville following the storms to help them clean up. They also donated food and clothing. Another Indiana town hit hard was Pekin. That storm destroyed several homes and businesses in the area. The tornado, which packed winds near 170 miles an hour, intensified to an EF4. It ravaged 14 miles through parts of southeast Washington County. This video of the Pekin tornado was captured by a storm watcher in that area. And while some people may find it exciting to film them, WLKY Chief Meteorologist Jay Cardosi says not everyone should be out chasing storms.
You don't go out and you don't shoot anything in the sky. If there's a tornado warning in effect for your area, you get to your basement now.
5 people lost their lives when their homes were destroyed in Pekin. Of course, everyone remembers that where they were on March 2nd, whether you were actually in the line of destruction or at home watching that severe weather coverage on your TV. For the first time, though, we're hearing from a couple, Mike and Frida Montgomery. Their story is pretty amazing. Take a look at this because it seems like it should be the plot from a movie.
On March the 2nd, almost a year ago, a tornado that hit Henryville, Indiana.
Sit down with Frida and Mike Montgomery, and you'll be captivated by their story.
Sort of a day like any other day. We hadn't really made any plans to do anything other than, yes, we knew that there was going to be some storms coming through.
But they never imagined the strength of the storm as the 2 tornadoes merged at the couple's trailer on Henryville-Otisco Road.
I remember going up toward the ceiling, but when I got there, the ceiling was gone. And then after that, I don't remember anything.
That's because Mike was struck in the head by flying debris. He woke up face down in the mud. But Frida remembers everything.
But it was so quiet. It wasn't loud. It was just like a thief in the night.
She was sucked into the funnel cloud and says she had an eye on her husband the whole time.
Imagine being on the inside of a washing machine on the spin cycle going 174 miles an hour. That's exactly what the top part looked like.
As she dropped to the bottom of the twister, she calls it surreal, spending minutes that felt like hours dodging debris.
I remember being thumped on the ground and then being thrown. And
Mike and Frida were actually inside the trailer, which was right here as the tornado was approaching. But after all was said and done, the couple was tossed about 350 feet into this field. The trailer was completely gone, and all that was left in its place was this van.
That's where we were laying, right there.
And that's where they stayed for 45 minutes through softball-sized hail and cold rain as first responders cut through fallen trees to reach them.
Yeah, well, it's more than luck had to be because there's not many people that fly through the funnel and come out the other end and tell about it.
They lived, but both continue to recover from their massive injuries 1 year later.
Due to the injury in my back, I I guess I contracted a disease that's rare that comes from the dirt and the soil.
Injuries they'll have for the rest of their lives. And though 80% of what was inside their trailer is gone, the two have had things returned to them, including business cards and checks blown as far away as Maysville, Ohio. And they're each trying to move on with the best possible attitudes. Now, the Montgomerys both say they're going to try to attend all of today's events. That was the first time they'd ever spoken on camera to anybody about their experience. They say it was kind of a healing thing, but it did take them a full year to really want to tell that story out loud. They say that they're going to try to clean up the property. It was actually Mike's brother's property that they were living on at the time. They're going to try to get that cleaned up just as soon as Mike recovers from a recent shoulder surgery. So, of course, these experiences here today that are going to happen at the ceremonies this afternoon, Christina, they're going to be full of emotions, but we've been talking all morning long about how far this area really has come. The high school built back up in just 5 months, and it was ready to go on the first day of that new school year. Bud Rose Restaurant completely rebuilt. As you pull off the exit here, you can really see the reconstruction and recovery effort that has happened. Of course, still a number of people here who have those blue tarps on their houses who still need help, and crews here say that the biggest need is still skilled volunteers, anybody that can do drywall, plumbing, electrician work, things like that. That's really the need for the volunteers in this area. We'll be staying up to date with you all morning long, but for now, Christina, I'm going to send it back to you.
Okay, Lexi, thank you so much. Live in Henryville. We'll check back in with you in about a half hour. For now, in other local news this morning, a man's body has been found in a dumpster behind a South Louisville business. A worker at Greater Louisville's funeral limousine service on Almond Avenue made the discovery Friday morning as he was taking out the trash. Right now, police will only say there was some trauma to the man's body, indicating a homicide. Detectives are also investigating a blue Chevy Impala with Indiana plates found close to that scene. It sat in a nearby parking lot with its keys left in the trunk.
Kind of a secluded area. You see, you got railroad tracks on one side, so anything could really happen back here.
The victim, who's described as a white man in his late 20s, still has not been identified by police. If you have any information, you are asked to call LMPD. That number is 574-LMPD. The defense team goes on the offense in the fourth day of testimony in a high-profile murder case. Joseph Banis is on trial for the death of James Carroll. His body was found buried in the basement of a home in Old Louisville in 2010. The defense claims Banis's boyfriend, Jeffrey Munt, killed Carroll in a jealous rage.
Even when you get back here after he has told you that he knew more about it, he continues to lie to you, doesn't he?
Yes, sir.
And we know that because we know darn well that he knew the guy's name, right?
Well, we didn't until he slipped up and said
it.
Munt is expected to testify Monday on behalf of the prosecution. His trial is scheduled for May. 68-year-old James Say has been arraigned on robbery and murder charges. Yesterday, Say entered a not guilty plea. He's already spent time in prison on 2 other murder convictions. Metro police say he killed 61-year-old Orville Avis at Dosker Manor Apartments last week. Avis was stabbed and beaten.
Eligible for the death penalty because there was a robbery in the course of the murder.
The judge appointed Say a public defender and granted a $100,000 bond. Gunshot victims at the center of an exclusive WLKY series will lead a walk against violence. This week, former Marine Kaniki Lucas and Sharonda Morris helped announce plans for a compassion walk that will be held on Saturday, May 18th. That's the day 9-year-old Erica Hughes was shot and her mother was killed. Erica says she wants to stop the violence.
Because all the people that's around here that likes to have the guns in their hands, they really need to stop because too much people are getting killed.
The Compassion Walk will start at 32nd and Broadway. We will have those details on our website, WLKY.com. 7:13 on your Saturday morning. Across-the-board spending cuts are now in effect after the nation's lawmakers failed to reach a compromise. And relief at the pump. Hear what they're expecting to go down when WLKY News returns.
And good morning. Right now it's 7:14. We are seeing some snow on the ground. Will we see more? I'll let you know coming up.
It's a chilly Saturday morning. Yes. Meteorologist Suzanne Horgan here to tell us about it.
It's been a chilly week poor Christina. We welcomed her into town with terrible weather, didn't we? With the cold.
No, but you know what? We expect this.
Yes.
You know, we're not in Florida.
No, we're not. But can I go visit your parents down there?
Yeah, they would love that.
This makes me just want to see some sunshine really, really badly.
And we might see it tomorrow.
That's right. We can look forward to that. We actually saw some snow. Did you have any snow at your house?
You know, every time I see the snow, it's walking by the window back there, and so I just see a little peek of it. But it was on my car this morning.
Yeah, some people got a dusting last night. You know, we have a lot of snow lovers out there. So far, we haven't seen any big accumulating snowfall, but you can see a little bit of a dusting here from the Lake Forest Country Club, mainly an accumulation on elevated surfaces and on grassy areas. As we head throughout the day today, we will continue to have at least the risk of a few flurries out there. It actually looks like we're seeing a few peaks of sunshine out there this morning. Another live perspective this morning will take you over to Churchill Downs and show you what's going on there. It doesn't look like they saw much as far as snowfall there, but again, some locations did pick up a dusting last night. As we take a look at our WLKY Doppler network, what you'll notice here is that we are continuing to see some of that snow shower activity march on down to the south, and that's going to be the trend as we head throughout the day. So basically, we'll just be dealing with a few scattered flurries across the region for the rest of the day today. You can see the bulk of this widespread snow shower activity is dipping down pretty quickly down to the south, still impacting sections of Grayson County, back through portions of Hart County, through Green, Taylor, and Adair counties so far this morning, and even through the southern sections of LaRue County and the southern sections of Hardin County as well. As we head throughout the day today, we are talking about pretty cold conditions out there with scattered flurries possible. Highs today will only make it into the middle 30s. We are watching a chance of a mixture of rain and snow for Monday and Tuesday. The timing on this is going to be a little bit tricky. It looks like it'll start off with some rain on Monday afternoon, change over to a rain-snow mix on Monday night, change over to some snow showers for Tuesday morning, then change back over to a rain-snow mix during the day on Tuesday with a chance of snow showers on Tuesday night. So we'll have to continue to tweak that forecast. The bottom line, it does look to be somewhat unsettled for Monday and Tuesday. Warmer weather is on the way. As we take a look at that 7-day forecast, we will expect temperatures warming back up to near 60 degrees by Friday. Cold out there, though, 29 in Austin, 30 degrees at the International Airport. You factor in the wind, and it feels like we are down into the 20s, so certainly a cold start to the day, and it is going to remain chilly throughout this weather weekend. 36 degrees today with a few flurries, upper 30s on Sunday, lower 40s on Monday. Again, a bit of a mixed bag as far as precipitation on Monday and Tuesday, warming back up for Thursday and Friday. Christina?
$85 billion in forced government spending cuts officially kicked in at midnight, and they'll affect everything from unemployment insurance to shipbuilding. President Obama signed the order yesterday after trying to find a compromise for months. But before lawmakers left yesterday, it was clear an agreement was not going to happen. And as you can imagine, both sides are blaming each other.
And let's be clear, none of this is necessary. It's happening because a choice that Republicans in Congress have made.
We all agree it's not the best way to reduce spending, but it's time we did that.
The biggest impasse is over taxes. President Obama wants to close loopholes, but Republicans say they already compromised on taxes in January when rates went up. Lawyers for James Holmes have indicated he might plead not guilty by reason of insanity. Holmes is charged with multiple counts of first-degree murder and attempted murder in that July 20th theater shooting that killed 12 people and wounded 70 in Colorado. Defense attorneys want the judge to declare portions of the state's insanity defense laws unconstitutional. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty, but it's unknown if that will directly impact what type of plea to enter at Holmes' arraignment on March 12th. Officials say a sinkhole that swallowed a Florida man is seriously unstable, and they think it will grow. Police are not allowing anyone to enter the house right now for fear of losing more lives. Jeff Bush is presumed dead after the earth opened up beneath his bedroom late Thursday night. 5 other people were in that home, but no one else was injured. Some good news at the pump. AAA says lower prices are on the way for drivers. Gas prices rose 10% last month, making it the worst February on record. Officials say the increase was a result of a slowdown at several refineries undergoing equipment upgrades. AAA says work should be finished soon, and falling gas prices are expected to follow. Hawaii is the happiest state for the 4th year in a row, according to a Gallup Well-Being Index. The index considers several factors, including health and work satisfaction. Colorado, Minnesota, Utah, and Vermont round out the top 5 states with the highest well-being scores. We don't fare so well. Kentucky and West Virginia were the least happy. They ranked 49 and 50. Indiana is also near the bottom at 42. If you want to read more about that study, just go to WLKY.com. 7:21 now. The playoffs for Indiana high school boys basketball continues. See if the Jeffersonville Red Devils advance to the next round coming up next in High School Playbook.
Now, with your latest scores and highlights, this is WLKY Sports.
Good morning and welcome to another replay edition of High School Playbook, the final one of the high school basketball season, where it was Indiana's semifinal action in the sectionals and also the Kentucky girls locally playing in the 6th and 7th region. Take a look.
High School Playbook starts right now.
Jeffersonville thinks it has a good chance at making a run in the Class 4A playoffs and the postseason into the sectional semifinals, where the Red Devils played against Bedford North Lawrence. The two teams are part of the Seymour sectional, getting to play in that massive gym up at Seymour in first quarter. I'll tell you what, Daryl Baker was a highlight maker. The steal here is going to take it the other way and get the slam, putting the Red Devils up 16-2 midway through the first. More defense. Jakari Chandler gets it and throws the alley-oop to who else? Daryl Baker for the slam. 18-4 Jeff. Then it's Baker again, this time on the defensive end, and look at him getting up to get the nasty blocked shot there. And how about this for the end of a quarter? Jeff's Keenan Williams is going to heave this one from just about half court after you see him get it. Is it going to be good? Oh, you better believe it. Jeffersonville rolls into the sectional final with an 83-58 win over Bedford North Lawrence. All right, New Albany and Jennings County playing in the other half of the semifinals. The Bulldogs get out quick with a three-pointer from the corner as Joshua Rogers hits it there. 3-2 Dogs. New Albany keeps shooting from three. This time it's Jermaine Parrish that buries the long shot. Bulldogs leading at 6-2. But Jennings County keeps it close. Bailey Sanders drives along the baseline. The reverse layup here. Tough shot. Jennings led it 16-13 at that point, but New Albany holds on to win a close one, 61-59. Bulldogs play rival Jeff for the sectional title. Let's go down to the Charlestown sectional, where Brownstown was taking on Salem. The Lions struggled in this one, still played hard as Derek Catlick gets the block shot there. But this one all Brownstown. Already up 47-8 in the third, and on the break, Brett McCory pulls up for the three. 50-8, Braves in front. Later on, it's Hayden Stuckwish that's going to hit another three-point shot. Brownstown cruises into the sectional championship game, beating Salem 67-12. And don't forget, later on today, you can see U of L and UK right here on WLKY at noon. U of L will visit Syracuse, and at 4 o'clock, Kentucky will be on the road to face Arkansas. And then later on tonight at 7:30, IU will be back at home to play an Iowa team that it beat on New Year's Eve. I'm Keith Farmer. Have a great day.
This is WLKY. Live, local, late breaking. Your complete news coverage for Greater Louisville starts right now.
Right now at 7:30, tossed in the trash. Metro Police are investigating a homicide after a man's body is discovered inside a dumpster. And indicted on murder charges, a Louisville teen will have to stand trial for killing a man last month. And facing federal charges of fraud, the president of a drugstore is accused of creating fake prescriptions and then billing insurance companies. Good morning, I'm Christina Mora.
And I'm Lexi Sheen, live in Henryville this morning on the one-year anniversary of last March's deadly tornado outbreak. Lots of events going on in Henryville today and around the surrounding area. We'll have a preview of those things, and we'll also talk about how far this community has come in the past year.
But first, let's get a check on today's weather with meteorologist Susan Horgan.
All right, good morning, everyone. At 7:31, we did see some snow last night, just basically a dusting with some light accumulations, mainly on grassy surfaces. As we take a look at our WLKY Doppler network, you'll notice we're continuing to see all of that snow march down to the south, and that's going to be the trend. Now, we will still run the risk of some scattered flurries as we head throughout the day today, so that's something to keep in mind. Here's the bottom line on your forecast. Scattered flurries today. Temperatures remain remain cold throughout this entire weekend. Rain and snow will be possible for Monday and Tuesday, but warmer weather is on the way. I'll let you know when to expect that coming up in just a few short minutes, but right now let's send it back over to Christina.
And now we will go back out to Lexi, live in Henryville, who has more on last year's tornadoes. Lexi?
Well, Christina, obviously Henryville was not the only place that was affected by the March 2nd tornado. Several other southern Indiana communities like Palmyra, Pekin, Marysville, Chelsea. Of course, Henryville was one of the hardest hit, but also the town of West Liberty, Kentucky suffered extensive damage in that town of about 1,900 people. And while southern Indiana was the hardest hit area, more people actually lost their lives in Kentucky. A total of 25 people were killed in the Bluegrass State. 13 people were killed in Indiana. Those affected by the storms still call the experience surreal.
On the inside of a washing machine, on the spin cycle, going 174 miles an hour. That's exactly what the top part looked like.
Now, according to the National Weather Service, 42 tornadoes struck 10 states on March 2nd, 2012. 38 of the 43 people killed in those storms died in Kentucky and Indiana. Here's a look at the strength of all of those tornadoes that hit the area. An EF4 and an EF1 actually touched down in Henryville and in Chelsea, Indiana. An EF3 touched down near Pekin and also in Ripley County. 19 homes were destroyed. 98 of those were damaged. Now on to some good news, though. We're going to continue our team coverage this morning with Natalie Grice, who's been live at Bud Rose Restaurant all morning long. Bud Rose Bus Stop, I should call it. Natalie, I was just in there, too. Smells fantastic.
Yeah, Lexi, Bud Rose had a name change because last year, right in this vicinity, there was a school bus in the middle of the restaurant, but things have certainly changed in the last year. Now everything is back up and running and business right back where it was. Now, Dave McKnight was actually passing through this area on March 2nd, 2012 under some very different circumstances. It was certainly an ominous day back then.
Yes, it was. It was very nasty, the cloud cover and possible rain showers. You can see it coming.
Now explain, you were actually passing through this area about an hour before the storm hit. What were you seeing when you were passing through, and what were you doing that day?
I don't remember how much traffic there was, but you could tell it was going to rain. It was going to be nasty and everything.
And so then what were you thinking when you saw exactly what happened here?
Well, when I got home, it was about an hour and the tornado hit, and I seen it on the news, and I felt very lucky that I came through here and you know, an hour before it hit.
Yeah, now so many people have had similar stories saying, you know, I feel lucky with everything that happened, and of course a lot of people lucky that things weren't worse than they actually were. So tell me what it means for this region of Indiana when the storms hit, that people kind of pulled together and came together to help out.
Well, everybody likes to take care of the community, you know, and help out, and people kind of respond to things like that. And they take care of everybody.
Yeah, so a lot of good and a lot of support here at Bud Rose Bus Stop, where people are coming out and sharing stories, especially since we are on the one-year anniversary. What kind of things have you heard from people kind of talking about things today?
Just the total destruction of the town. I mean, it was pretty nasty. I mean, they got the school right across there, and they had a bus right here in this room right here. It's pretty nasty.
So pretty crazy experience a year ago today, but everything back up and running today. Wait, Bud Rowe himself is stopping by. What's up?
I don't know. I still got money to buy free breakfast. Come on down. Is his jaws tired? You've had him talking so long.
I know everybody finished their breakfast, so yeah, but excited here today because a lot is going on in Henryville. So here at Bud Rose Bus Stop, you can stop in and grab some breakfast. But for now, Lexi, I'm going to send it back to you.
Come on, I'm still buying.
Still buying?
Still buying.
Natalie, definitely worth stopping into Bud Rose Bus Stop this morning. We were just in there. It smells delicious. Everybody there has a story to tell. Also with a story to tell this morning, joining me is Trish Gillis and her entire family. We know a lot of homes were destroyed in Henryville, Trish, but you guys have a very interesting story. You all had kind of a terrifying experience. Can you kind of just walk us through that day on March 2nd of last year?
Yeah, that day for us was like any other day. When we got up, went to work, kids went to school. And it was when we came home, we had to get the kids out of the school and home to what we thought was the safest place. So we bundled them up in the closet and made sure they were as safe as possible. And then when the tornado hit, it actually picked our entire house up with all of us in it and then tossed us into a nearby field.
Could you hear it coming? I mean, did you know obviously that it was that close? Could you hear it? What was it like actually knowing that it was that close to you?
Well, we saw the radar with it coming close. When we got home, it was about 16 minutes before it was supposed to hit Henryville. So we had a few minutes of time. To us, at that moment, it was probably, a lot less than we thought we could use. But once we saw it, my husband went outside and he saw it going over the horizon in the backyard. And the kids were already tucked in the closet, though. So we went in there, laid on top of the kids, and then he laid on top of me. We heard the glass shatter. We heard all the doors slam, and then all the lights went out. So yeah, we did hear it. We still hear it to this day. Whenever the wind comes through and whistles, it sounds just like that day.
I'm sure it was terrifying for all of you guys. Obviously, you all suffered some injuries, right? Were all of you all injured, and to what extent?
4 of us out of the 5 were. I had a shattered pelvis, broken ribs, broken back, but my oldest son actually had a broken back as well. And then my husband, pretty much his entire torso, including his jaw. His jaw was shattered and every rib and sternum. My daughter had a lacerated liver, and then she went into a seizure and then had to be put in a coma. So, but this guy, he was wearing a baseball helmet, which is something that we really have to think about now, to wear, bicycle helmets and things like that, and that kind of storm. They found it up the road later, cleaning up debris, and there was a big crack in it. So I know that was one thing that helped save him.
Saved their lives, yeah. It's pretty amazing. I mean, you guys look great. Now, a year later, how are you guys feeling, and what are you most looking forward to today? What do you think this 1-year celebration is going to be like?
I think it's going to be, honestly, a lot of reflection today. You're going to see smiles, and you're going to see a lot of tears, and definitely a lot of hugging. We're really close up here, and that's the great thing. We have people come in that we know of from Indianapolis and all over just to be here with us that day and show us support. So looking back a year later, it really seems like it just happened. So it's still fresh in our minds. I don't think that feeling's ever going to go away. It's emotional.
It really, it doesn't seem like it's been a year. It feels like just yesterday, and I didn't even, live through what you guys lived through. Did you all rebuild your house? Where are you living now? How are things?
Yeah, we did rebuild. We actually had our contractors were really great friends, and they came in when we were in the hospital and started showing us floor plans, and they started then. So we went back in September, and before the holidays, and it was great. Waking up this morning, definitely a little more emotional than it has been. But I think we get through the day, and then tomorrow we'll realize that we lived through it again. So it's going to be great.
Well, good for you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Such an amazing story, and I know one of so many people that have really overcome what was handed to you guys. Really a scary time, so thank you all so much for being here. In other places, though, around the area, like in eastern Kentucky, the town of West Liberty, they also are having a slow recovery that's still underway there. The community was reduced to rubble after an EF3 tornado hit there last year. Officials say it packed winds of up to 140 miles an hour. People living there say the road to recovery will be a long one, but they're confident they'll get there.
We still are West Liberty. We are a community. The tornado came, but we're still here.
The National Weather Service says the tornado that hit there was on the ground for about 60 continuous miles. That total cost of damage is estimated to be about $250 million. Like we've been talking about today, lots of events planned here in Henryville. We're going to show you a list right now of the day's remembrance ceremonies. They kick off at 1 o'clock this afternoon. That's when we're going to see a flag and memorial dedication that starts at the New Washington Bank. A parade is scheduled for right after that at 1:30. That will start at the Monroe Township Fire Department at 315 South Ferguson Street. At 2:30, there's going to be a memorial and commemoration service right here at Henryville High School. That will also include a Henryville High School family fair. But at 3:10, all of those activities will come to a halt and pause for a moment of silence to remember last year's victims and also the damage. From 4 to 6 o'clock tonight, the Kiwanis Club is going to be hosting a spaghetti dinner and fundraiser. There's also still a number of groups that are working on recovery efforts here in Henryville, including one that's tailored to Washington, Clark, and Jefferson counties. March to Recovery is a long-term recovery group that's formed from money given to the counties by the Indiana Natural Disaster Fund. Basically, it's a last dollar organization for those who have no other means to help themselves once FEMA and insurance have done all they can. They've teamed up with about 20 partners like the Red Cross, the United Way, and other faith-based organizations. In the end, they say they will have helped between 130 and 150 people. They're continuing to bring in volunteers from across the region each weekend, adding that skilled workers are still in high demand for help.
When you're doing cleanup and relief, you need anybody who, you know, can pick up a piece of paper or a rock or a stick, but now we need skilled volunteers to get houses built. If you can frame, if you can side, if you can put a roof on, if you can, we love electricians.
Now, that group started up about 6 months after those tornadoes hit, and they hope to be finished up with all of their projects at the end of the year. And once those are done, that organization will actually just disappear. Now, March, we want to remind you, is Severe Weather Awareness Month, so get prepared with WLKY's new and improved Tornado app. You can check out active weather watches and warnings. You can see radar specifically set to your city or county, plus interact with the WLKY weather team directly from that app. You can always be prepared to keep you and your family safe long before the storm with WLKY's checklist for severe weather. You can download that app for your iPhone or your Android today. Christina, we've been talking all morning long about how far all of these areas have come. The rebuilding effort right here in Henryville is amazing. You can see it as soon as you get off of the exit off of I-65, just how far this place has come. Just like Trish and her family said, a time to kind of remember exactly what happened, be thankful for how far everyone has come. We want to remind you, the Henryville High School was rebuilt in just 5 months. Everyone was back in school for the first day of that new school year, which is certainly amazing. Bud Rose Restaurant back in action. The Marathon gas station, which was completely leveled in those storms, is now back open, so you can really see the signs of life coming back to Henryville. Christina, back to you.
Okay, Lexi, thank you, and thank you to Natalie. You both have been talking to some wonderful people today in Henryville, Indiana. We continue to cover other local news this morning. A young man's body has been found in a dumpster behind a South Louisville business. A worker at Greater Louisville's funeral limousine service on Allman Avenue made the discovery Friday morning as he was taking out the trash. Right now, police will only say there was some trauma to the man's body, indicating a homicide. Detectives are also investigating a blue Chevy Impala with Indiana plates found close to the scene. It sat in a nearby parking lot.
I mean, this is kind of a secluded area. You see, you got railroad tracks on one side, so anything could really happen back here.
The victim, who's described as a white man in his late 20s, still has not been identified by police. But if you do have any information involving this case, police want to hear from you. That number is 574-LMPD. 3 people now face charges in the death of a Louisville teen. A grand jury indicted Antonio McFarland, Cecil Spearman, and Reginae Williams on murder and other charges. 15-year-old Tyshae Spearman was shot in the back last June in the alley at 18th and Crop Streets. Police say the shooting was the result of an altercation, but they do not believe the Shawnee High School student was the intended target. A grand jury also indicted a Louisville teenager for a deadly shooting. 18-year-old Darrell Jackson was arrested for killing Michael Chester at Chester's apartment in southwest Louisville last month. Chester's wife and daughter were there at the time but were not hurt. Jackson is charged with murder and tampering with evidence. The president of a longtime Bardstown pharmacy faces federal fraud charges. 36-year-old Timothy Sizemore is accused of using the names of patients and doctors to create fraudulent prescriptions and then bill insurance companies even though he never filled the order. Federal court records say he did the same thing with Medicare. WLKY was there 1 year ago as FBI agents searched that business. Many in the Bardstown community say Sizemore is not a criminal.
I just know what he does for the community. I go to Crooms myself there. I've never had a problem. So I don't know what's going on, but, you know, I think he's a law-abiding citizen.
Sizemore is not in jail. His attorney confirmed he still works at the drugstore. 7:46 on your Saturday morning. A legendary rock group is heading back out on tour this spring. Your chance to get tickets right around the corner. Plus, this year's Pegasus pins will go on sale next week. We'll tell you how to pick yourself one up. Coming up next on WLKY.
And good morning. Right now it's 7:46. Some locations were able to see some snow last night. What can you expect for your Saturday? I'll let you know coming up.
Now, your WLKY weather with meteorologist Suzanne Horgan.
And good morning. Right now it is 7:49. We're taking a look at our WLKY Super Doppler network, and we are continuing to see some snow showers out there so far this morning. Right now, down into sections of Hart County, we are picking up some snow shower activity down near Horse Cave, also into sections of Greene County as well. As we head throughout the day today, we'll still have the risk of scattered flurries, but right now is when we're seeing that snow shower activity quickly dip down to the south. Also seeing into sections of Breckenridge County, some scattered snow shower activity near Hardensburg, just outside of Custer. As we go ahead and take a live look outside, it actually looks like we're seeing a little bit of sunshine out there this morning. It's nice to see that. This is the live perspective from the Sheraton. And as we go ahead and show you a live look from our camera that we have at the Lake Forest Country Club, you'll notice that we did see a dusting of snow here. Many locations did pick up some light accumulating snowfall last night, basically just on elevated surfaces and on grassy surfaces. Keep in mind, bridges and overpasses could have a few isolated slick spots, so just make note of that as you head out the door early this morning. As we take a look at our WLKY Doppler network, you'll notice that we're continuing to see all of this moisture dip down to the south. That's going to be the trend as we head throughout the day, with only a few flurries in its wake. Temperatures are cold, 30 degrees at the International Airport as well as in Elizabethtown. It's 32 degrees over in Patoka Lake, 30 in Springfield, 29 degrees in Frankfort. Wind chill is a factor for us. It does feel awfully cold out there this morning. Feels like only 21 degrees out at the International Airport. Feels like we are in the teens in Madison as well as in LaGrange. As we head throughout the day today, we'll still run the risk of some scattered flurry activity. It's not going to add up to anything. Into the afternoon hours, we're only going to make it into the middle 30s. Yesterday, we topped out at 39 degrees. Remember, our normal high for this time of year is 53 degrees, so decidedly cold weather. As we head into tonight, still that risk of some scattered snow shower activity. Into your Sunday, mainly dry skies and hopefully some nice sunshine for us. Temperatures, however, will remain quite cold, with highs only making it to about 38 degrees. Here is a look at our extended forecast. We continue to be quite chilly over the next several days. 36 degrees for today, upper 30s. For your Sunday, lower 40s on Monday, 37 degrees on Tuesday. At this point, we'll have to continue to tweak the forecast for Monday and Tuesday, but here's what it looks like. A chance of some rain Monday afternoon, then some snow mixing in on Monday night with some snow showers for Tuesday morning, with a transition back over to a rain-snow mix during the day on Tuesday, then perhaps some snow showers as we wind that down on Tuesday night. Then warming up for Thursday and Friday, so a lot going on Monday and Tuesday.
All right, and we'll continue to bundle up this weekend.
That's right.
All right, Suzanne, thank you. If your dream is to see Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, here's your chance. The band is scheduled to kick off a new tour May 16th in Evansville, Indiana. They'll be headlining a number of festivals and make nearly 24 stops. The tour runs through June 29th. The group is working on a successor to its 2010 album, and it will be released next year. The cast of next season's Dancing with the Stars has been revealed and features everyone from a Super Bowl stud to a reality TV diva. The lineup includes Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Lisa Vanderpump, country singer Winona Judd, comedian D.L. Hughley, and figure skating legend Dorothy Hamill, just to name a few. The season premieres next month. If you haven't decided where to go for spring break, if you get a spring break, we have a list of some of the most popular destinations. The state of Florida takes the #1 spot. Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, Miami, Tampa, and Fort Myers are this year's most popular destinations. Vegas, Cabo, and Cancun are also favorites. Fly.com reports airfare prices for those destinations are down about 48%, which is a savings of about $242. The 2013 Pegasus pins were unveiled yesterday morning at the Hard Rock Cafe at 4th Street Live. The pins feature the Derby Festival logo and come in 5 colors. They will be sold at hundreds of businesses beginning March 18th. They cost $5 and are needed to get into several Derby Festival events. And right now, you can't win if you don't play. Here are your latest Mega Millions numbers: 17, 30, 38, 43, 51, and the Mega Ball is 20. Current jackpot, $26 million, and your latest Powerball jackpot is up to $130 million.
Your live, local, late-breaking coverage for Greater Louisville continues right now.
All morning here in WLKY, we've been remembering the aftermath of last year's tornadoes. Today, Henryville is hosting multiple events to remember them in its own way. At 1 p.m., there will be a flag and memorial dedication at New Washington Bank. A parade is scheduled for 1:30 p.m. that starts at the Monroe Township Fire Department. That's at 315 South Ferguson Street. At 2:30, there will be a memorial service here at Henryville High School. Immediately after that, there will be the Henryville High School Family Fair. All activities will come to a halt at 3:10 to pause for a moment of silence to remember last year's victims and damage. From 4 to 6, the Kiwanis Club just north of the high school will hold a scholarship and spaghetti dinner for the school. Very special day there, and they're remembering it all day long.
That's right. It's going to be cold if you're headed out to any of the activities going on there. Temperatures for today are only going to be in the middle 30s, and from time to time we could actually see a few flurries out there as well. Now keep in mind, because we saw some light snowfall last night in some locations, some of our bridges and overpasses could be a bit on the slick side. This is going to be different than yesterday when we saw some of that snow shower activity and we had surface temperatures that were actually above freezing. Today, temperatures are a little bit colder since it happened during the overnight hours, so some of those bridges and overpasses could be a bit on the slippery side, especially early today. Now, we could still see a few scattered flurries out there. We're not expecting any accumulating snowfall, but it's going to be another chilly day for us. Upper 30s on your Sunday, and then it looks like on Monday and Tuesday we'll run the risk of seeing a rain and snow mix on both days, Monday and Tuesday. You'll notice temperatures stay quite cold on Tuesday with a high of 37 degrees. We're in the upper 30s on Wednesday. We recover into the upper 40s on Thursday, and then how about 60 on Friday? Man, it's going to feel nice to feel that. Temperatures normally should hit about 53 degrees for this time of year, so certainly we will be well above normal for that day. Finally, one day, right?
Finally, the 60. Okay, thank you for watching. Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share your favorite hotshots. Send your best local photos and videos to YouLocal at WLKY.com.